The Monopoly Collect and Win game is back at Acme. There are over $250 million in prizes and money-saving offers, so shop and play for your chance to win. Now through February 25th, get Lancaster brand USDA Choice Bone-In New York Strip, $5.99 a pound on 3 pounds or more, and Progresso Vegetable Soup, 88 cents when you buy 5. Shop, play, win at Acme today. See game rules at shopplaywin.com. Monopoly is a trademark of Hasbro. All rights reserved. Hasbro is not a sponsor of the promotion.
Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Bold with the topic, sort of like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports. Uh-oh. Frank, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I don't know what happened just now. The theme music just decided, like, I don't want to go no more. I've never heard that before. But, hey, we'll just run with it. If you can hear me, I can hear you. Hopefully the people can hear us. Anybody out there listening, if you let us know if you can hear us. I guess if I don't hear from anybody, that means you can't. But anyway, what's good, War Room family? You're once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports, of course, on that War Room Sports Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Dev McMillan, but I'm at the round table today with another one of my brothers. You might know us from shows such as Quick Slants on the War Room Sports Podcast Network, where we talk nothing but college football. You might also know us from a show like Cover 2 with McMillan and Purdue, where we talk NFL football. I got my homie Fred Purdue in the house. Fred, what's going on?
What's going on, man? It's been a bit of a hiatus, but I'm here for the whole day. I mean,
no doubt.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
Oh, show. We're going to do this, but let me give some information out to everybody right now because, Fred is here. That means we got to talk NFL Combine, which is going on right now. Also, we're going to talk about, all the LeBron James comments and the talking heads questioning his leadership. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about the record-breaking deal that Bryce Harper just signed in Philadelphia. So, look, everybody, just get your popcorn ready. B. Austin will join us in the second hour. Jimmy is out of the country right now, saving little children in the Middle East from war-torn areas. He's doing his thing right now, his philanthropist thing. He's saving lives like he always does. But keep it locked right here. Get your popcorn ready. We're going to talk about everything we can in the world of sports. I know last week the show was kind of hijacked, and you guys were waiting on some sports talk, and it went left. It went way left. So we apologize for anybody who did not enjoy that. Thank you to the people who did. It wasn't our fault. It was the caller that called in. But as usual, you can join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. Or you can join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about, let's say, 5-10 minutes when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. But before we get started, just make sure during the week when we're not live on the air that you go to the podcast network. You can go to warroomsports.com, check out archive episodes of our show. Like I said, on the website, warroomsports.com, the mobile app, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spreaker, Google, wherever you do your podcast listening. And make sure you get to that War Room Sports YouTube page as well, and you can listen to Fred and I archive episodes of Quick Slants and Cover 2. So I think that's everything. Got that out of the way. Let's get it started, Fred. Let's get into these hot topics, which will include a lot of talk about this NFL Combine that's going on. This is Fred's specialty, man. He's chomping at the bit to give you all this information. So real quick, hot topics are brought to you by MyBookie. Let's talk real quick about how much money you guys can make betting on sports at MyBookie. The NBA and NHL seasons are well into their second half, post All-Star stretches. So if you haven't yet checked out MyBookie, this is a great time to do that. Lay down some dough on the biggest games in sports. Join us, the War Room, and thousands of other online players. Play at mybookie.ag. Tired of getting the runaround when it's time for a payout from whatever services you're already using? That's why we urge you to join MyBookie. You win, they pay, fast, no hassles. You're wasting your time betting anywhere else. They even have in-game live betting so you can place wagers after the game start. That sounds crazy to me. So you can join now, and MyBookie will match your first deposit with a 100% bonus. You heard it right, 100%. So just use the promo code WARROOM, all caps, WARROOM, to activate this offer. Visit mybookie.ag today. Play, win, get paid, period. NFL Combine. All right, the Combine is off. Well, Fred, excuse me, good brother, because I did tell you this prior to us getting on the air. We're going to start, before we go into the NFL Combine, we're going to start with some semi-breaking news. It broke a few hours ago, but it's a very big story in the world of baseball. Bryce Harper and the Philadelphia Phillies agree to a record-breaking deal, 13 years, $330 million for the superstar slugger. He's going to join the Phillies down in Clearwater. Spring training is already well underway. They've played a few spring training preseason games already. He joins the fray. Fred, like this was a cat and mouse game throughout the whole process. You know me being from Philadelphia, being a Phillies fan. I don't know, like Bryce Harper for me, like I think he's a great player, but I was kind of meh on whether or not I would be upset if they didn't end up signing him, especially because I knew he wanted to have the biggest number basically in MLB history as far as the whole worth of his contract. And he got that because Stanton's contract is $325 million. So what's your thoughts? I mean, I know you're not a huge baseball guy, but what are your thoughts on this whole thing, man?
I'm not a huge baseball guy, but I am a big sports business guy. And when I look at how these contracts are, 13 years is a long time. That's the rest of his career for the most part. He's already 26, so by the time this thing's over with, he'll basically be 40. You may not even see him get all the way through this contract, but $330 million, that's the going rate for a superstar.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is, because everybody wants to, if you're signing after other superstars, you want to break the bank. You want to have the highest contract. Manny Machado just signed 10 years, $300 million. And we knew throughout the whole process that Bryce Harper and Scott Boras were, they were very interested in just beating that dollar value that Stanton had. Didn't know how many years it was going to take, but they just wanted to beat that dollar value because, in baseball, unless you're writing something different into the contract, everything's guaranteed. So like you said, these baseball contracts, I mean, it started back with the Pujols contract. Like, they're paying these guys a lot of money over a lot of years, and the end of these contracts are basically going to be disasters. But if you're a fan of these teams, hey, a lot of fans in every sport, they get on their teams when they don't go for it. So go for it. Have fun now. Think about what he's doing to your salary cap later when he's old and not worth half the money that he's going to be getting. But, I'm like I said, I was meh on the whole thing. But if you're a Bryce Harper guy and you're a Philadelphia Phillies fan, it's a day to rejoice. Don't be negative. Don't be chatty patty. Let's not spin let's not be all in the pockets of the organization. Just be happy that you have a chance to contend again, because it's not just him. With their projected opening day starting lineup, this team could make some noise this season. So we'll see how that goes.
Interesting.
I'm
interesting
personally
part about
watching them, Fred. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Interesting point about this contract, and like I said, I'm not always the biggest baseball fan. I'm a Red Sox fan, and so for me, I focus on my team, but I don't focus on the league. So, and I focus on certain players I just happen to like. So,
I'm about to say he ain't Mookie, but he got that money.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So when I look at the contract, I see that he wanted an opt-out clause after 3 years. He didn't get that clause, and that was a sticking point that he had to sacrifice. So I'm wondering, maybe they tacked on a couple extra years and a few extra dollars because he didn't get that opt-out clause. Smart man, Scott Boras, he is, for wanting that 3-year opt-out clause, because he's holding, and I see a lot of athletes doing that now, where they hold the team's foot to the fire and say, well, I want out after 3 years, 4 years, right around, I'm still in my prime, because if you don't put the guys around me, I want to win and make money. And that's one of the smartest things I've ever seen from a lot of these athletes, instead of just taking the money like a Robinson Cano and just going into Siberia.
Hey, I mean, and we all know that kind of stuff kind of started with LeBron James, who we will talk about a little bit later in the show. Baseball players, they're stepping into that. They're just now putting their toes in the water with even thinking about doing anything like that, since they are getting these ridiculous contracts that are fully guaranteed these days. But they're thinking about that, and we all kind of know that his first choice was the Dodgers, but the Dodgers weren't ponying up what they were looking for, and I think it was smart on the Phillies end. If you don't want to have this drama, you don't want to have these issues 3 years into the contract, then, like you said, Fred, you just tack on a couple of extra years, and instead of giving you $326 million just to beat Stanton, we'll throw in an extra $5 million, so all of this opt-out talk could go away.
Exactly. Now, what happened to the days of, hey, I want to make more than the other guy? I remember the story of Bill Russell saying he wanted to make one more dollar than Wilt Chamberlain. And I'm like, what happened to those days? See, I bet if teams could have that option, we'll give you $1 more. $1.
That was some a-hole stuff though. I want $1 more dollar.
That's an ultimate troll. That's a Twitter troll move.
Yeah. So for me, it's not. Of course, the contract is very risky. I've always been a Bryce Harper fan. I didn't really I kind of thought the Phillies were ready to spend this kind of money in a year where the very best players in the game weren't free agents. So I kind of think the Bryce Harper Machado thing got overblown this whole off season. But it's like, I'll take it. We have some star power now because the lineup was already shaping up to be, really good. The Phillies recently just signed who's widely considered to be the best catcher in baseball. They have some other young guys there. You got Segura at shortstop. You got Andrew McCutchen in the fold. So they have a very formidable lineup. You get the pitching together, and they have a chance for success. But I hope Bryce Harper is happy, because the reports and during this whole thing, it was such a circus. The Phillies are the front runners. They flew out to Vegas to see him. They'll be signing something tomorrow. This was like a month ago. And then tomorrow comes and nothing happens. And then the next week they say the same thing. And they say on President's Day weekend, the Phillies asked their staff to come to work on the holiday because they may have some big news tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, nothing happens. Then the Giants and the Dodgers put their hats back in the ring. And then even as far as today, the thing this morning said the Phillies are no longer the favorite to land Bryce Harper. And then 2 hours later, the Phillies signed Bryce Harper, the biggest deal in baseball history. So this has been a circus. And I know the Phillies, Bryce Harper, the fans, and everybody are finally, happy that it's finally out of the way. Now we can go and play some baseball. So shout out to everybody involved in that. Let's get to this NFL Combine, because I know you've been chomping at the bit. It's football time. So the Combine, which began on Tuesday and will go through Monday, March 4th. Of course, the location is Lucas Memorial Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. All right. So what's your take first? Let's start, Fred, with the whole Kyler Murray saga, because he's been in the news. His measurables have come out. So what did you see? I know it's a lot of comparisons to Russell Wilson. So give me the scoop on Kyler Murray so far at the NFL Combine.
Kyler Murray came in at 5'10" and an eighth inch. What we use in the scouting community, we listed as he came in at 5'1", For those that didn't follow me, again, 5'10", 1/8 inch, 207 pounds. That was the real thing that was really the only concern I had, was his weight, not his height. Because quite honestly, 1 inch isn't going to make a difference. If he would happen to be 5'7", maybe 5'8", then I'm going to wonder a little. But 5'9" to 5'10", there's not that much difference. Quite honestly, that's a myth that your quarterback needs to be 6'2", because guess what? Your offensive linemen are 6'5", 6'6", so you still can't see over those guys. You have to find windows. You have to be able to have good spacing between your offensive linemen. Their splits have to be good. So that's a scheme thing. That has nothing to do with just your genetics. So
right.
Just glad to see he's 207 now. Every 207 is a little bit different. Can he have the same explosiveness? That's a whole different story. We'll see. But he's not working out at the Combine, so we won't get to see that until his pro day, and we'll get those results then. As far as his hand size is huge for a quarterback, because you got to be able to hold on to the football. He had a 9.5-inch hand. That was a little bit smaller than Russell Wilson. So the comparisons are there. And over a 5-year average, his hand is actually bigger than the 5-year average, which is 9 3/8 quarter inches. So that's going to be one of the things that you want to see, because ball security is huge. When you look at guys in the NFL who cannot hold on to the ball, look at their hand size. Go back and look at those numbers.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because we all followed the story. We followed his decision of whether he was going to go full-fledged football, full-fledged baseball, or even try to teeter between the two to see what he thought was going to be, more of a successful route. He chose football, so we'll see. We'll see where it goes from there. Let's flip back and forth a little bit as we go down some of your highlights. Let's go to the defensive side. Give me a prospect defensively that's stood out so far to you, at least the measurables.
Measurable-wise, defensive players are going to be – defensive line is huge on the defensive line. You have guys like Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa, if the name doesn't sound familiar to you, he is the brother of Joey Bosa. A lot of the defensive players haven't been weighed or measured yet on the defensive line. So we're still waiting on that, because a lot of guys are still arriving, getting medical, all of that. It's a 3-day process before you ever get to tomorrow when the workouts start. So we're still waiting on those measurables. For me, when I look at the defensive tackles, when I look at the DBs are going to be huge. Looking at Greedy Williams from LSU coming in at 6'1", long arms. You want to see those guys have that arm length to play press man. You're seeing more and more zone now, but he's probably the most complete guy you've seen all year. And it's a strong secondary class.
Cool. I got 2 questions for you. Let's rewind, because somebody that's shout out to Neil, who's in the chat room now. She asked me a question on social media last week, and I just wanted to, I want to get her a verbal answer. I gave her a written answer, but let's hear from Fred. Since you just mentioned press man. Her question was, she had heard the term bump and run. I guess she was reading something or listening to something about defensive backs. Mm-hmm. Fred, could you briefly explain to Neil what run coverage is?
Bump and run coverage is exactly what it says. Get your hands on the guy in front of you, reroute him, stop his progress, stop the timing of the offensive route. If you're not many guys can do it, think Richard Sherman, think Xavier Rhodes, think Rod Woodson. If you're a little bit older, think about Mel Blount, one of my favorites. He's the guy that kind of started that whole thing. But those guys, the bigger, longer corners who can just get their hands on guys and just rough them up a little bit. But they also have the ability to kind of flip their hips and just run with the receiver and stay in their hip pocket.
All right, so Neil, I doubled you up on the answer. I think Fred and I pretty much said some of the same things, but I wanted to get an answer from my partner in football as well. Second question, Scott One is in the chat room. He's a Raiders fan. He's asking, why the hell is Raiders looking at receivers versus actively trying to sign Antonio Brown? I don't necessarily think that, they might be. You know what I'm saying? Like, they probably just not going to tell you. But go ahead, Fred. You got any thoughts?
Wide receiver is going to be an interesting class because it's not a great class across the board. You have some guys you can get the DK Metcalf from Ole Miss. He's the big fish in all of this because you don't really know what you're getting. The pictures that have circulated on the internet over the last month or so, he looks like a Greek god. He's about 6'3", 228 pounds is what he came in at the weigh-in. But if you don't know what he looks like, just quick Google search. And when you see him, he's almost too big to be a receiver. He's thought to run in maybe the 4.38 range, anywhere between 4.38, 4.44, which is blazing still for a guy that big. He takes plays off. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but he's one of those. He's what the NFL loves: the big, strong Calvin Johnson-like receivers. Where they're just, I won't even say Calvin Johnson for him. There's another guy I like more to that comparison. Think Dez Bryant in that sense. He's a go up and get it guy. He has decent routes, but he's not a technician. His teammate A.J. Brown is actually the technician in all of this. He came in at 6 foot even, 226 pounds, and he's a slot guy. Think Jarvis Landry, but a bigger body, a little bit faster. That's what you want in the slot type receivers. For me, Antonio Brown would be a good fit with the Raiders. I don't think Derek Carr will get the best use of him because he doesn't go down the field much, but he can work between the numbers and he's explosive after the catch. Clearly, the problems that he had with the Steelers were not him, really. I think he had a little bit of a hand in it. I think a dysfunctional organization kind of has a little bit of everybody, but I think Ben and Tomlin and Kevin Colbert, their GM, those guys were the ones that really had a big hand in all of this. You can't give your quarterback that kind of authority and just not hold anyone accountable.
Right.
And you're seeing all the issues that are coming with that.
It was definitely them because of course you're going to give your franchise quarterback a different set of rules, different treatment, but you have to draw a line somewhere where when the GM is publicly coming out saying, yeah, it's okay for the quarterback to throw guys under the bus on his radio show. Like, come on, we can't be admitting that.
No, you can't.
And, we've heard rumors that Tomlin has lost his locker room a long time ago, and it had a lot to do with the favoritism giving to an aging Ben Roethlisberger. Like, Ben Roethlisberger doesn't have the cleanest the field resume out there. So it is kind of difficult. Like, most of the times your quarterback does get some preferential treatment, and I'm not saying that it's strange that Ben does, but Ben has gotten himself into enough off-the-field trouble to where maybe his different set of rules shouldn't be that far off from some of the guys because he wants to play like he's the responsible one because he's the quarterback. But, dude, come on. We know what you've gotten away with, allegedly.
Speaking of Antonio Brown, he actually has he has some family members in this whole draft thing. Marquise Hollywood Brown from Oklahoma. That's his cousin, I think it is. And he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be a burner in this whole thing. He's not the biggest of guys. He came in at 5'9", and 3/8 inches. He actually ended up being only 166 pounds, but you don't want him. He's more of the deep speed kind of guy. Although I don't see him as a first-round pick, and I'd be more along the lines of waiting and going after a guy with more value, getting a value guy like a Miko Hardman from Georgia, who's very similar in stature, same skill set. We're learning that these speed guys, you can get them later. Instead of going after a John Ross and shopping him 2 years later, you can go a little bit later in the draft. Just saying.
All right, so
and we know how the Ravens love speed.
Let's do a few more before we go to the phone lines. Where are we? Let's go back to the defense. Who else you got over there?
And just to preface this, the defensive side, a lot of the numbers haven't come out yet. But as far as players are concerned, prospects, the defensive line, Rashawn Gary, Michigan defensive lineman, not high on him because for me, when the production is not there for a guy who came in very highly touted out of high school, number one player in the country, went to Michigan, didn't put up the numbers that he was supposed to, and it wasn't a Jadeveon Clowney type of situation where you're getting double and triple teamed. He plays up and down the line, but doesn't necessarily produce the pressure because sacks don't mean you're a great defensive lineman, but being able to generate pressure and maybe get another guy, essentially like an assist in basketball, where you're generating the pressure. You may not get the sack, but you might swat the ball down. You may get another guy a sack because you're taking on double teams, even triple teams. The elite lineman can do that. I also look at Ed Oliver, who was I've really been a fan of throughout his couple years in college, but he's too undersized. I think him being 280, he'll probably go in the 280, 285 range. The connection to Aaron Donald, I don't see. Aaron Donald had great hands. I don't think Ed Oliver has the hands, but I think he has the motor. But when you're small like that, will you be able to stay on the field all three downs? Defensively, linebacker is a pretty weak class as far as from top to bottom. You have two guys, Devin White, the linebacker at LSU, who is if you think Roquan Smith from Georgia last year, who got drafted by the Bears, but a little bit smaller. He actually hasn't been playing football long, but he's very instinctive against the run. Needs to work on his pass coverage, but whenever he's around the football, he makes plays. Mac Wilson, Alabama, is a guy that's going to run well, has really good ball skills when I watched him on film. He had 6 interceptions over his career at Alabama. And we know how linebackers, when you have good ball skills like that, you are always around the football. You're able to – I look back at guys who had good ball skills like Brian Urlacher, who always could just stick a paw up and just find a way to get a pass. Granted, he's 6'4", but still he's always instinctively around the football, and that's one of the biggest things. And my last guy, John Abram, safety at Mississippi State. He's a little bit undersized at safety, but he will take your head off, and he's instinctive around the football. He's going to be a guy that you may see around, if he tests well and he weighs in well, you could see him going maybe second, early second, maybe even late second. He won't get out of the second round.
All right, so I got one more question for you before we wrap this combine talk, and it's from the War Room Sports Game Time group on the GroupMe app, and the question is from Tobias. He says, Fred, what was Bob Kraft's 40 time when the Popo showed up?
5'2", 6'6". He was trying to get out of there quickly. He was trying to get out of there quickly, man.
Got out of there to the waiting Bentley. All right. So, anything else, or so I told you, you give me the word when it's time to wrap, and then we can move on, get to the phone lines. And for everybody out there who wants to hear more in-depth coverage of the combine, Fred and I will be doing an extra episode of Quick Slants for this. Man, actually, Combine could be Quick Slants or Cover 2. We'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know which
might have
most
to be
likely
a double
to be.
Might have to do it as a double play.
Exactly. We might have to just do like a crossover show, and do it that way. Also, we're going to take this segment and we're going to make that an episode as well. So, don't worry. If you need more Combine from now till Monday, you're going to get it. Because especially when the workouts start, we're going to get that information to you as well. So this has been the Quick Slants Cover 2 segment. You got something else?
Everybody loves quarterback, so I guess we could end it on quarterback.
Okay.
Of course, we know how everyone felt about Kyler Murray. He's the anomaly in all of this because he's gotten comparisons to Russell Wilson, Michael Vick. I mean, I've seen from every spectrum from smaller guys. I mean, athletic guys. I really
black guys that can run.
Yeah. I didn't want to go there, but I mean, it is what it is. Because the thing is, he's such a good passer, and I don't want him put in this box as he's a run-first guy. I mean, I'm not Stephen A. Smith, so I'm not going to call. I'm sorry, I'm not throwing. Let me stop throwing shots. Anyway, Kyler Murray is a very good passer, and he uses his legs like Russell Wilson to get out of bad situations. But he has a very quick release, and he's one of those. He's a shorter guy, but he has a very powerful arm. And let's not confuse arm strength with how far you can throw it. It's more of how hard you can throw it, getting it to a spot.
Right.
And he can play within the structure of an offense. I quite honestly kind of hope this situation happens. If the Seahawks are smart, Seattle, if you really want to, you can pay your boy when it comes time and you do this. But Seattle, go package Russell Wilson, go get Odell, go ahead and go say New York. We'll take Kyler Murray.
I heard rumors that Russell wanted to end up in New York anyway.
Exactly. Go draft. Seattle should say, you got to go draft Kyler Murray, package him with Odell Beckham Jr., who you don't necessarily want. So we'll trade you back Russell Wilson. No, we'll throw a fourth round pick in there just to make things even. And then you have a comparable quarterback. You have a guy for him to throw to, and you also have other pieces there for him to go with. Russell Wilson has Saquon Barkley, a bit of a team around him on defense. And that team can continue to build. He can build his brand there with Sierra. And Seattle has their quarterback of the future. And they don't have to change the offense around him. That would be great. Away from Kyler, he could end up being the first overall pick, because we know how Cliff Kingsbury and the Cardinals feel about him. But Dwayne Haskins, he's your throwback, actually. He's the tall statue guy. I've never understood where the whole running thing came from. He doesn't move around really all that well. He came in.
It came from Stephen A. It came from.
Yeah.
Out of somebody's butthole.
He came in at 6'3" and 3/8, 231 pounds. He had his hand came in at 9.62 inches. And that's pretty decent. That's a pretty big hand. He won't drop the football too much. The only problem I have with him as far as his style of play, which is the classical drop-back passer, the only thing I have an issue with is if you blitz him, you put pressure in his face, he tends to fold. And if you don't understand what I mean by that, if you can go search this thing on maybe YouTube or wherever you can find some film of it. The Penn State game in the first half of this past season and the Purdue game in which they lost, both teams just dialed up the pressure constantly. And when he had pressure in his face, he seemed to really he really didn't handle it well. And I want to see him, because he's a really good quarterback. He has a good arm. He's decent. He has decent accuracy. I want to see him succeed, but those are some of the things he's going to have to work on. And we know how quarterbacks are when they get jumpy in the pocket. It's over with, because they're just looking at the rush. A name that most old school fans will know, Brett Rippon nephew of Mark Rypien, longtime Washington quarterback. He's probably my prospect crush. Every now and then I have a prospect crush. He has a big arm. He went to Boise State. He can spread the ball around. He probably needs to sit for a year and develop, but he has a chance. You could put him potentially on that same Washington team that his Peoples was on, man, and continue the legacy. He's a guy that he can distribute the football, and that's what you want. You don't have to have this, as what they say, clutch gene all the time. If you give a good player good weapons around him, you've seen it over and over and over that this can happen. And last but not least, Ryan Finley and Drew Lock at Missouri and NC State respectively. Those guys, Finley's more of the point guard type. He doesn't have a big arm, but he's more of the dink and dunk guy. He can get you down the field, 10 plays. He's going to always make the right decision. It's not touchdown or check down. He's the smartest guy in your quarterback room. He's going to be that guy. And Drew Lock is, and I'm not ready to really give him this title, but from what I see on film, his ceiling is Pat Mahomes light, but his floor is Nick Foles. And that's not a terrible thing to be.
No, not at all. Since you brought that name up, shout out to Nick Foles. Eagles are not going to take him, so our hero is definitely going to go out and on the market and see if he can get another big contract.
Jaguar?
the hero, and shout out to the Rypien family. You brought up his nephew. That family must breed quarterbacks because Rypien, daughter of Mark Rypien, she was a quarterback in the was it the Lingerie League? I know now she's in like the Legends Football League, whatever that is.
I think that is what it was called. I've only seen maybe a game or two. It wasn't really my cup of tea.
Okay, yeah, because everybody didn't look good in lingerie, so. No. All right, so again, that is your quick slants / cover 2 segment. You can check us out on the YouTube page, the Woven Sports YouTube page. Just check out archive episodes, quick slants for all your college football needs, and cover 2 with McMillan and Purdue for all your NFL football needs. All right, let's go to the phone lines real quick. We got some people waiting. We got Tobias on the line all the way from Arizona after his Bob Kraft question. Tobias, what's going on, good brother?
Hey, what's going on, Dev? What's going on, Triple OG Light Skin? What's going on, good brother?
What up?
Hey, I'm glad the wife gave you the hall pass. Let you join the show today, man. How's Mary like treating you, Fred?
Man, it's good, man. Everything's good, man.
Well, I ain't going to do it. I'm trying to stack
up.
That
regardless. That man in trouble?
Yeah, because she be listening. She probably listening to you right now. You don't know it yet.
Tobias, but, I don't even know if you heard any of the show after you called in last week, but you helped set us up, man. Somebody called in after you and hijacked the show for a good hour, citing things that you were saying about the man and all of that. And he was an African brother, but he was defending, the white man and telling us how much we should be thankful for, them.
Yeah.
Stopping. Yo,
go back to the archives of last week's show when you get a chance. And just
I'll have to listen, but I'll tell you why. Hey, Mr. Africana, if you're listening. Yes, because the white man in this country gives you all the perks that we should be getting, the interest to admittance to these colleges, these loans, these business stuff. Of course the white man treats you good, but let's go.
I see that number on the line, man.
Hey,
I get hijacked again, man.
Hey, by the way,
shout out to the homie David from UTV.
Hey, and I'll say this before I get on. Hey, and don't worry, I'm not going to try to scam some woman online for money. But anyway, here's the thing. But here's the thing. Like, a couple things about the combine. I think Kyler Murray ordered him some step-ups from that commercial on TV and down the whole thing of creatine and drank a couple of gallons of water. Because here's the thing. I'm not talking about the hype. He might be 5'10"
Oh.
for real. But here's the issue. The height wasn't the issue, never been the issue. It's the fact this guy is small. Russell Wilson is actually a big guy. I know he's short. And that's the issue, is that he's a smaller guy. He's a thin guy. He's a smaller guy. Russell Wilson's a thicker guy. He's a bigger guy.
I'm always leery of thin quarterbacks. I'm saying Robert Griffin.
Look at Bridgewater.
Robert Griffin III was a thin quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always leery of him. Like, quarterbacks, you kind of got to be a big bone dude to withstand that position in the NFL. Like, you can kind of some of the people that weren't going to be people thought they were going to be. But
here's the thing people miss. And, I know a lot of NFL people in the media don't watch college football. Kyler Murray played behind the best offensive line of football. He rarely got touched. And it's a different animal in the NFL when you get touched. How was that?
Playing in a conference that plays no defense.
Bingo. And so he's not getting hit and touched and roughed up like that. And so that's an adjustment also that people got to think of. Because I heard I got to give, Cowherd was saying this. I got to give him credit on this. Sometimes I hate to. But he's talking about the Patriots. He was saying, it's like agreeing with Whitlock. I hate it. But, they were talking about, if the Cardinals do draft Kyler Murray number 1, the Patriots will jump on that in a heartbeat with Josh Rosen. And I think it would be a smart move for them. Yeah. Because they got late first-round pick, a bunch of picks. They could trade that and let him sit behind Brady. Because I think he's a good player. He's just one of those guys that's on a terrible team. And as Chris Carter said, he'll get the football beat out of you. So I think Rosen won't out himself. Rosen probably pleased to pick this dude.
Shout out to David Carr. He's always my example of somebody who got the football beat out of him.
Yeah.
And Tobias, you're right, man, because I even look at how when Oklahoma played your Alabama Crimson Tide, that first half was brutal. And you could tell he was like, I don't want no smoke, no moss, I'm done. And in the second half, you guys laid off a little bit, and he put up numbers. But you could tell, he didn't want anymore. You could tell.
Yeah, because Terrell Lewis is coming off. And I remember there was a play with Quentin Williams with one arm ragdolled him. And I think that's thing that
I remember that.
And see, it's the size. If he had 15 or 20 more pounds, he could shrug that off like a Russell Wilson can. Because Russell may be 5'11", but he's a bigger guy. He could get away from people. They grab him. And I think that people don't realize, if you pick Dwayne Haskins, it doesn't work out. All right, it happened. The guy looked good. He did good, whatever. But when you pick 5'10", $185 after that creatine wears off, and he doesn't work, because there's a lot of small guys like Johnny Manziel that didn't work out. Bridgewater, who hurt his knee throwing a drop back. Robert Griffin, those guys didn't work out, but nobody ever brings them up. They want to bring up Drew Brees after he went to the Saints and got the right coach. Or Russell Wilson, who got a chance to be groomed while the great running game and the great defense, where he didn't have to be Aaron Rodgers day one.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to talk about that. And look at Baker Mayfield. No expectations. But, hey, a white guy could say he didn't like his coach, he'd get away with it. Jameis said he could do it by his own coach, they hate him. I had to throw that in there. Boy, it's good to be white. But I got to touch on basketball for a second, guys. I know Fred loves LeBron. But the crazy part is with this whole thing, LeBron looking real Oliver Miller-esque right about now. Out there in that court, looking a little tuck, and he leave that wine alone. And but the problem with LeBron and these guys don't get, Adam Silver is giving them so much rope. There are no less back-to-backs, longer All-Star break. But yet you want to make rap albums with 2 Chainz, who's 50-some years old, act like he's 20. Still dressed like he's 20. Midnight of the game, he got to get the Warriors.
Basketball is like LeBron's 4th job right now.
Yes. And so he sat out that Warriors game talking about load management, and he making a rap album the night before. And the NBA like, well, we gave you all this all time. And on a Saturday night, you say you can't go, but you're making rap albums. And I think that's a problem because you're telling the public the regular season ain't important by not playing these games, and you wonder why people ain't watching these games. And that's just a problem they got to fix.
It's hard to tell. It was easier to tell the public that when you were in the Eastern Conference. Like the regular season could be all you have this season with the Lakers, so you better have guys out there if you want any shot of this making playoffs. So but we told you, Jimmy told you a long time ago, man. Basketball this year is like LeBron's fourth job. LeBron, he on his way to be that billionaire, man. He ain't got time for no basketball.
Yeah, you know what it is. The best way, whatever I could use for the scripts I could use LeBron going to the Lakers. It's like you finally getting that chick you thought was hot when you were 20 years old with that banging body, but now you finally got her, but you got 3 kids by 3 dudes and gained 45 pounds and got a bunch of stretch marks. Let's make it 50. A bunch of stretch marks and 3 baby daddies. But you got the girl, though.
But didn't LeBron tell us that he told us he doesn't care anymore? A month ago, he was like, hey, if I don't win another title, I'm okay with it. I mean, would Kobe say that? Would Jordan say that? Come on. So
at least they get the
But 20 years from now, we look at that and we're going to be like, well, he got more money than Kobe, got more money than Mike.
yeah, that's the excuse.
Yes, he was satisfied. So,
but you know the ironic part of all this is? The young guys take all the blame, but they've been playing good ball for most of the season. And that's the crazy part about it. And they're like, okay, like my lady, she's a Lakers fan, right? She's not even a big Anthony Davis guy. She's like, well, if he's that great, how come he couldn't get his team in the playoffs? Like, I don't want to hear about the West. Because what LeBron doesn't get, the Lakers fans are like SEC football fans, like Alabama fans and Georgia fans stuff. Win championships or it doesn't mean nothing. We don't care about your stats. And, like, Anthony Davis is going to learn that if he goes there. Because I always say this. I don't care if you're in the West. If you're a top 5 guy, damn it, you get me the AC. Kevin Garnett, he gets disrespected all the time. He's better than Dirk. I don't care what nobody says. He got those sorry T-Wolves teams to the 7th or 8th seed. They may have gotten bounced, but damn it, he got them in. So you mean to tell me if you top 5 with all these great numbers you put up, you can't get this team to AC?
Well, he did last year, but he's tired of that kind of hole. So he's trying to be out of there. And that whole situation is crazy because the league is, at this point, forcing the Pelicans to play Anthony Davis. And it looks silly because they have him out here on like a 21 minutes restriction, and he doesn't play in the fourth quarter no matter what's happening in the game. So every team that goes in there, they're just like, man, we just close.
Protecting an investment
to the fourth quarter, we can pretty much beat this team. It's weird, man.
You know what? And I know you guys got to run, but someone tell Shannon Sharp, you don't put the GOAT mask on for barely beating the Pelicans when they played Anthony Davis half the game and LeBron hit a one-legged three-pointer. Dude, and you know, I actually want the Sacramento Kings to make it because I know everyone, like we talked about in the group chat, Luka Mania and all that, De'Aaron Fox, I know he may have been pissed that he wouldn't go ahead of Lonzo Ball last year, but I bet somewhere he's like, thank God I went to the Kings because he got a chance to grow his game. And this kid is going to be a star. And that's why I think LeBron going to the Lakers, that's why I think I was glad he didn't go to Philly because young guys don't have a time to grow. It's championship or bust right now, and young guys are still trying to grow their games, grow as men, and mature. And I think that's what Magic didn't understand especially when they tried to bring Weed Beasley in, Lance Stevenson, and thinking Rondo's back in 2010 and trading their best center in Zubac. But
hey, you know how many people called me an idiot because I, was loud and vocal about not wanting LeBron to come to Philly because LeBron is LeBron. It didn't have anything to do with his stature in the game. But on the other hand, it really did because his stature is different. Like your schedule, it's different when LeBron comes to you. And we have a lot of young guys. And I was like, if if LeBron comes and we have a period where things don't go right, like I'm not sure if they're fragile. They might be fragile in the head. They might not be able to take that kind of stuff because when you play with LeBron, if you go slump, it's all your fault. He gets none of the blame. And if you are successful, he's going to get all the credit. So you got to have certain people. You got to be a certain type of person to be thick-skinned enough to be able to deal with that. And you see what's happening with his team now. I think a lot of those players, now that they're on the LeBron schedule, now that they all found out that, they tried to get everybody out of there so LeBron could get one of his homies on the team, got to the heads of a lot of them. There's a lot of other people out here like, well, they're professionals. They should be able to live with it. Yeah, that's true. But after it doesn't happen, you still have to play with dude. You know what I'm saying? Knowing in the back of your head, like, yo, dude don't even think I'm worthy. He don't think I'm good enough. He tried to get me out of it. It's a crazy 4
years, man. Knowing what we know now, man, seeing him in Miami, I'm still wondering how those guys even coexisted. Because think about Chris Bosh, who went from being he had his own team to he became a glorified shooter.
You know how the top two coexisted, Fred. You know how they coexisted.
Yeah, of course.
Because they were
they're besties. You already know.
So Dwayne Wade was willing to dumb it down a little bit, give LeBron control of the ball, and do what he had to do. I mean, Chris Bosh didn't even have much of a chance. Like Dwayne Wade was a big enough star, especially in Miami, where he had to make that.
It was his team regardless. It's his
nobody
team
was telling Dwayne, like Pat Riley, Spo. Nobody was telling Wade, yo, you got to, back it down for LeBron. Like that was Wade's doing. He and LeBron talked, and Wade like, all right, you the man in your prime. Let me step back, and maybe this is better for us. So that was big on his part because Dwayne Wade, even though his legacy is what it is, he kept doing the thing like the first year that they were, playing together. Dwayne Wade, like I said, he didn't really have much to lose, but still, you could have built a little bit more on top of that legacy. Instead of putting yourself down and making everybody think that you were just a co-star. We know how good Dwayne Wade was. And shout out to him. I know everybody saw the highlights from last night's game. Not even a good shot, man. Good performance. 25 points.
I just need him to get rid of those.
Not even at his age, but with his mileage and the fact that it is his last season, and he's coming off the bench to it, and then add on top of that the shot that beat the champs at the buzzer. Like, shout out to him. I was telling people earlier today, like, a lot of people, a lot of fans spend a lot of time with athletes, picking sides, trying to tear people down because you like somebody else better. And a lot of these guys, man, you start to get a little sad. You start to miss them when they're gone. I know a lot of Kobe haters. They might not admit it, but they're a little sad that Kobe's not in the league anymore. All the LeBron haters, he leaves, they're going to be mad that LeBron's not in the league anymore. I like to see dudes like Wade. I don't know if Dirk even has it in him besides what he did at the All-Star game, but I like to see these dudes turn back the clock when they're kind of washed and digging, if you will, give you that kind of performance. It was good to see Flash get that last night, even though the speed he did it with was nothing near Flash. He was more crafty. It wasn't Flash.
It reminded me. I don't know if you watched this Into the Spider-Verse of your son, but it's like the fat Peter Parker who came in instead of OG Peter Parker,
I didn't see it. He saw it. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, but you guys have a good one, though, fellas, and y'all take it easy, man.
All
Congrats
right,
again, Fred, on your marriage, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it, man.
No doubt. That's Tobias, everybody calling in from Arizona. Real quick before we go back to the phone lines, just a quick stat of the week, and it's related to the whole Bryce Harper of the, going to the Phillies for all of that money. If you just joined us and you haven't been watching sports news, Bryce Harper signed a 13-year, $330 million deal with my Philadelphia Phillies. This is the stat, Fred. This is the crazy thing. The annual median household income in the city of Philadelphia is $41,500, right? Now, if you take Bryce Harper's career averages, and you just think that it's going to be at the same rate at least for a while, every time he steps to the plate, this is not per game, this is not per day, per month, per whatever. Every time he has a plate appearance, every time he steps to the plate, he's going to make $44,929. And that's if, he stays at these current rates throughout the next 13 years, which we don't. But every time he steps to the plate, almost $45,000, which is more than the annual median household income in the city that he now plays for. How crazy is that, man?
That's
How
crazy.
ridiculous
That's crazy.
is the money in
That's crazy.
becoming? This
That's
dude
crazy.
is making more than households. Every time he steps
That's
up to
crazy. That's the athlete salaries are completely out of control, but for the money, if you really think about it, they're pennies compared to what the teams in the leagues make
to what they
from
bring in.
advertising dollars. Yeah. So it's like in the grand scheme of things, you say that's a lot of money, but not really when you actually really take a deep dive into it.
You know why, though? You know why we say that kind of stuff? Because we're comparing to important things in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got Bryce Harper getting $330 million, and then you have teachers, some of the greatest teachers out there over their lifetime, getting in the hundreds of thousands. And I'm talking about over their lifetime. We're not even talking about per year. So
yeah,
I think that's the type of stuff. We look at stuff that's more important. Oh, what's the fireman making? What's the police officer making? But in a business where a multi-billion-dollar business, when you're this big of a star, sometimes these guys, like you said, they get these crazy contracts and they're not getting their worth. Somebody even said it in the War Room Sports chat earlier. They're like, can you imagine if LeBron played in a league that didn't have a salary cap and what he would negotiate as his worth? And whatever he negotiated, even in a salary capless league, probably still wouldn't be worth what he brings to a team, what he brings to the city. Like Cleveland had Cleveland on his back, literally. Like
you can't pay a superstar athlete what they're actually worth. Heck, if you take it to the NFL, if Pat Mahomes, I'm just based off of what he did this year. If his trajectory keeps going up and up and up, he's probably going to be in that $200 million range, and you can't pay him enough for what if he's giving you 45 to 50 touchdowns, 5 to 10 interceptions a year, 4,500 to 5,000 yards. You can't pay him enough to be the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, and you can't. I mean, he should really probably be making $300 million, but without a salary cap, and that's still pennies. I mean, and we don't even want to get into college sports because we already know how that goes.
Yeah. So shout out to Bryce Harper out there making an annual house median income every time he steps to the plate in the next few years. All right, so let's y'all know the drill, and I know we got some people waiting on the line right now. But you guys, if you want to rap to us, make sure you call in 234100012. Just press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. We'll get to the phone lines in just a minute. But we're going to talk about what happened while you cats were on the grind. As a matter of fact, let's go to the line before we talk about what happened this week while you were on the grind. We got Rob calling in from out in Cali. Rob, what's going on, good brother? How you?
Wait, can y'all hear me?
We can hear you.
Hello?
Rob, my favorite troll. What's up, man?
What's up, Mr. Fred? Yo, it's your boy Rob, a.k.a. ladies call me Slip and Slide because I never get caught. Your boy Rob, a.k.a. the Cat Burglar. Your boy Rob, a.k.a. Yo, get ready to vote 2020, you know what I'm saying? Hindsight. What's good, man? How y'all doing?
All right,
I'm
what's
good,
up
man.
with you,
I'm still
man?
enjoying that. I'm still enjoying that Super Bowl win, man. It's all good though.
I'm still enjoying it too.
Okay,
I'm still enjoying it too. We beat the Patriots. I'm still enjoying it. You kidding me?
You know.
Dude, you and my auntie, I swear, man. You and my auntie, y'all, both of y'all, just, oh man. But anyways, man, I feel good. You know what I'm saying? Okay, first things first. Let's talk about First thing first. I just want to let Tobias know. Yo, listen, immigrants. Actually, I'm going to ask Dev. Dev, do you feel your job is going to be taken by an immigrant? No. Fred, do you feel your job is going to be taken by an immigrant? Exactly. Nah. So Tobias, enough of that xenophobic stuff you get from Boyce Watkins and Claude Anderson. You know what I'm saying? Yo, immigrants ain't taking your jobs. You know what I'm saying?
He said an immigrant was going to take his job.
No, but he's implying. He's implying that because Claude Anderson and Boyce Watkins they push a very xenophobic like black legal immigrant agenda in America. Some crazy stuff like that, talking about we should focus and worry about African Americans and not the people in diaspora who he says taking our jobs. And it's just like, well, that's not true. Like, I mean, for crying out loud, like I'm from California, and I'm gonna tell you right now, if y'all want to pick some strawberries, y'all can go out there and pick some strawberries, because that's the only job undocumented immigrants we're gonna get in California. You know what I'm saying?
Well, speaking of where you're from, what's your thoughts on your Lakers, man? What's going on out there?
It's kind of hard, man, because the real Laker fans ain't playing with LeBron's shit, man. Excuse my language. I apologize. But we ain't pulling up with LeBron. We ain't. It's just like you see. And I love the way how y'all laid it out. I love the way what Fred said. I love the way Tobias said, because our fan base, people don't understand. Our fan base is about championships. It doesn't matter. That's what people don't understand. The undertones of like what Kobe said. What Kobe said about LeBron. He said, we don't hang conference bands, we hang championship bands. Implying, dude, if you come in here, you better not play. If you either gonna come in here and smash some Kardashians and get some yams, you know, or you're gonna actually work on your craft and play ball. And LA love ballers. I mean, for crying out loud, we named a restaurant after Paul Gasol. Like, come on now.
Yeah, why y'all do that?
So,
but
2 championships, Dan. That's why we did that. Did y'all name a restaurant after Julius Erving?
Sure didn't.
Yeah, but y'all gave a statue of a.
You got a statue.
Yeah, but y'all got a statue. No. I mean, y'all got a statue of a fictitious white man for no reason. But anyways, man,
we have a statue of Dr. J as well. So what he's in. Dr. J had a statue a long time ago.
Well,
next.
But anyway, speaking of Philadelphia, you know, shout out to Nick Foles. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate, because I'm gonna go back to basketball. Shout out to Nick Foles. I appreciate everything he did for the organization. I understand why.
You were one of those people he had to make a believer, and
why not?
A Philly hero now.
Why not?
No doubt.
Why not?
As long as he did it, he did what he was supposed to do, and he made me look good in the process. Shout out to Nick, like you said. He made the people who always believed in him look good. So shout out to Nick. Now he can go somewhere else and be trash, and I won't even care.
No, I wish him much success. Hopefully in Jacksonville, not New York. New York don't deserve it. They deserve Eli. I don't understand what they. Oh jeez, no, because the state of the team is, and people understand how they say, all we need is some cornerbacks and some wide receivers. The state of the team is, 3 are offense. Two of them most likely will not be back during training camp or during the start of the season next year. That's Ron Brooks and Jason Peters. Jason Kelsey might retire. So we got to replenish that offensive line, but even think about the running game. Think about playing Le'Veon Bell.
He had sort of a rebirth because like 4 years ago, everybody was talking about how Jason Kelsey was washed. And then he comes back, they win the Super Bowl, and then they're talking about how he's the best, most athletic center in the league again. So, he was reborn for a couple of seasons. So if he retire, it's probably because at this point he will probably just be living off a reputation. Anyway, so if he does, shout out to him.
All right, by the way, shout out to Fred. We battle, but we actually similar in some. We actually agree on a couple things. You know what I'm saying? I do want to say this for sure before I go, because I know you guys got other calls, other stuff to get to. Hello?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. Hurry up.
Go ahead, man. Yeah.
Okay. Black folks, stop talking. Stop. Okay, I believe in reparations. I believe black folks should get reparations. Now, at the same, stop solely focusing on one issue. We should present a black agenda, a list of black agenda to people. We have mass incarceration that we need to talk about, the privatization of prisons that we have to deal with. Along with the violent police force, we have also healthcare. We have also getting small business loans and housing discrimination. We still have stuff to deal with. So if you go to these politicians and these town hall meetings and stuff like that, can y'all focus? We need to focus on other issues than this person don't say reparations. Oh, then we're not for that. We're not for him or for her. No, you have to present our idea. There's a book called The Covenant. It deals with the main core issues. Also public education in our communities. How can we change that? Also redistricting our communities, fighting gentrification. Housing. That stuff. Stop just going. These politicians saying he ain't for reparations. He's gone. Come on, man. We have to stop. We have to stop being overly simplistic in our political woes. Okay, that's all I got. That's all I got to say. And please don't vote for Kamala Harris.
That has been your political PSA from Brother Rob. Rob, we'll talk to you next week, man. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it. All right. I guess he hung up before.
Yeah.
He hung up, Fred.
He dropped the mic.
Got quiet on me. All right, so real quick, man, while y'all on the grind, of course, it's brought to you by Sports the Book. If you guys are tired of reading the same old sports books with the same old lists, rankings, imaginary starting lineups, these GOAT debates, and all sorts of subjective information being passed off as facts, be sure to pick up your copy. Sports. Stay with me. Smart people only read the sports. That's called an acronym. Sports and hip-hop culture will keep you on the edge of your seat and laughing like you're watching a comedy special. So go to sportsthebook.com or get your copy from our website, warroomsports.com. Wherever you do it, wherever you get it, just don't miss. The movement of Sports the Book, and of course it is written by War Room Sports' own Jimmy the Blueprint Williams. So let's get into what's been going on this week. And of course in the news, we brought it up a little bit earlier. Fred was even asked a question on it earlier. Robert Kraft, owner of the Patriots, of course, he was in the news. We talked about it last week. He's involved in a prostitution ring, but he's pled not guilty to charges of soliciting prostitution. I don't think, Fred, that they're trying to get him on some of the more serious charges. They're saying that a human trafficking situation. I think he was just there for the washy-washy. I don't think he had anything to do with him being trafficked. But I guess soliciting in that environment is sort of a serious crime as well. He's pleading not guilty even though they claim to have surveillance footage, graphic surveillance footage of Robert Kraft at this particular massage parlor where happy endings are the culture of the day. What are your thoughts on this, man? You guys just won another Super Bowl. This story comes out. It actually comes out that he was there the morning of the AFC Championship game. I hope he washed his hands before he got that trophy and then passed it on to everybody else. What did you think when you saw this? Because, you know, this I mean, for people who are just looking for reasons to hate the Patriots, you know, this is going to be the new one. What's this going to be? Coochie Gate? Can I say that?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I can't say the other word, the P word. What's the Coochie Gate? What's going to be called?
Man, this was
Washi Gate. What were your thoughts when you heard the owner was out there getting it in?
Man, I mean, you couldn't. I mean, I hate saying this, but you couldn't call one of the interns and just say, "Look, drop the bag at the door. You take the bag, and then this goes away."
Fred out here trying to get the dude wrapped up in the Me Too movement. He's gonna be the next.
I'm just
Weinstein.
saying, like you couldn't. You could. I mean, all the women in the world. You want to. I mean, you're a billionaire, dude. You could get anybody to do this, and you decided to. You can't even recognize a sketchy situation when you're in one. I mean,
along those
lines,
same lines, Fred. This is my question. Not even an intern. First of all, you're a billionaire. Why do you even have to leave your mansion, your estate, to go to some
cheap washy
where it costs $59 for half an hour, $79 for a whole hour? They said he comes in, immediately asks for two girls. This thing, two girls, and then he gives them each like $100 bill. Like, I know that rich men don't, make and maintain their riches by giving away money and losing money. So I guess, being full times is a part of the game. But you have to know, not even you have to know. I mean, you don't know that there's an FBI sting going on in this place, but you just have to know you could get yourself into some trouble going to the, little neighborhood massage parlor for that kind of stuff. When even if you don't want people to know where you live, you can have people, written in and what those girls say, flued in. You can have people flued in on your helicopter pad, blindfolded, whatever you have to do. But you got to be a little more high priced with your solicitation, Mr. Kraft, if this is what you choose to do. I mean, because I believe he's a single man, right? So, he got the right
his
do what he has
wife
to do.
A couple years ago, so this is
when
crazy.
You're on the illegal side of things, like, it's a little easier to get caught when you're driving your $300,000 Bentley up to the neighborhood massage parlor in Jupiter, Florida. Like, come on, dude. You don't have to leave.
My guy took in Red Sox practices, spring training practices, came back up and said, "Yeah, I'm gonna make this happen." I mean, you couldn't wait till you got in the plane. You couldn't say, "Come get in the plane." We're thousands of miles in the air, and then no.
But you know what though?
I mean,
I think a reason why he's against what we're talking about, because according to these court documents, even with the two women, your man Rob was in there 14 minutes in and out. Like, man, if I bring him to the I mean, even if you bring him to the house, or you are a billionaire, if you're done in 14 minutes, all right, my driver will take you home 14 minutes later, and then they can make all the money they make with him, and they can go off for the rest of the day. But you said the plane ride, I can see that, because if you're done in 14, you don't want to see him, then you stuck in the air, unless you're going on a quick plane ride where you take off and land immediately. But so I can see that. But, bring him to the house, have your driver on standby. 14 minutes later, we on our way back out the door. So he's like I say, he's pleading not guilty. He was charged with 2 counts of soliciting prostitution. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, because the police says that they have surveillance video of all of his little sex acts during his 2 visits to the Orchids of Asia Day Spa in Jupiter, Florida, on January 19th and 20th. So whatever he did on the 19th, he did because he was back on the 20th.
What's the number one crime? What's the number one rule about being a criminal? Never return to the scene of the crime.
Never return to the scene of the crime. You can't find another one. I know you can find another one. You jump from city to city. You got your own jet. Come on, man. You got to be smarter than this. But his lawyer says we categorically deny that Mr. Kraft engaged in any illegal activity. So basically, Mr. Kraft is saying, F y'all, I don't care what you saw.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me. It wasn't me. He hit him with the Eddie Murphy.
Wasn't me. Wasn't me. It says, because it is a judicial matter, we will not be commenting any further. Wasn't me. Hey, this is the same guy that got the NFL to burn the Spygate tapes. So he like, look, wasn't me. He's asking the police commissioner right now, how much is it going to take for y'all to burn those tapes like Spygate? Like, how much is it going to cost?
So I'm curious, if the stopwatch don't fit, then do you have to acquit? I'm just curious.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't know if this place was a recommendation from Meek Mill or what. They show Meek some of the finer things in life, and Meek show them some of the more ratchet things in life. I don't know if it's a trade-off. But Robert Kraft, man, you got to do better, man. You really got to do better. Out here soliciting $59 prostitutes. You worth like $6.6 billion. All right, man. That's news. Fred, like, look, man, we get rings and trophies. I don't care what these people do. We get rings and
I really don't. I don't care what my owner does. He's earned it. He's earned it.
We get rings and trophies. That's all you got to say. Rings and trophies. Not even rings, rings. All right, so I know you heard this news, some more news of the day. Jason Witten will be leaving the Monday Night Football booth, thank God, and returning to the Dallas Cowboys for year 16 of his NFL career. He's getting a 1-year deal worth $3.5 million that could max out at $5 million, including his bonuses and incentives. This is actually, I think this is a pretty big investment for the Cowboys at this point. A year out of football, and you think this guy is worth that? He was beyond trash in the booth. I guess now anything he does at this point in life is going to be better than the last year of his life. So the Cowboys are willing to take a flyer on that. But what does that say about the tight ends that they already have on their roster, that they're willing to bring somebody who was already old and declining, who left football, retired, and now is coming back after a year of being out of the game a year, and they're still going to pay him $3.5 to $5 million. What does that say about the tight ends that was on their roster?
What does that say about what their evaluations are for the draft when this is a pretty good tight end class? I mean, I got about
what's that say about Jerry Jones?
Guys that could be.
He didn't treat Dez like this.
Yeah. I mean, I can give you 5-6 guys I'm willing to take right now in day 1 or day 2 of the draft, and you bring this guy back. But, you know, the Cowboys are doing us a service because I had to watch Monday Night Football with no volume for a whole season. That's not fun.
The Cowboys just did the whole world a solid. This is the first time I'm ever happy with the Dallas Cowboys. You are absolutely right, Fred. Monday Night Football was a drag this year. This dude was terrible.
I mean, can we just – I mean, you could have got Gus Johnson. You could have said, hey, let's pull Gus Johnson from over there. Let's go pull Tony Romo, who is just great football. I'm begging for Tony Romo every week. Can we just put every game, Tony Romo cover every game? I know you're going to be dead when you're done, but can you just do this every game, please?
Right.
Because there needs to be more. And I think that's what everyone's searching for is they're looking for that next guy that's like Tony Romo where they can just break it down. Because Tony Romo can break it down to the point where you could know nothing and still sound like an expert if you quote him. He has quotables. So he's perfect.
Yeah. Here's the quote from Jason Witten. He says, "The fire inside of me to compete and play this game is just burning too strong." I can translate this for you as I go along. That means the ratings and the reviews came in from Monday Night Football, and they're about to fire me. I can't do nothing else, so let me see if Jerry Jones can take me back. Then he said, "This team has a great group of rising young stars, and I want to help them make a run at a championship." this part, he's saying, I got to say this because everybody has to mention the word championship when they're, trying to get back onto a team. We know the Dallas Cowboys ain't going to ever win a championship. Then he said, this was completely my decision, and I'm very comfortable with it. I'm looking forward to getting back in the dirt. What you did over the last season in the Monday Night Booth was very dirty. You did us all dirty. But go ahead down there, get back in the dirt. Skyview One in the chat room, he said Jason Witten had no business retiring in the first place. I kind of disagree. I
do too.
I thought it was time. He wasn't producing like the Jason Witten of old. So why didn't he have any business? He played 16 games, had 63 receptions for 560 yards. Like, that's not Hall of Fame Jason Witten right there, because he will be a Hall of Famer. I guess you got to push that back now, but he will be a Hall of Famer. But his last season in the league, there was no injury. He played every game, started every game, and his production was damn near
you can't
all-time
separate
low.
anymore. Things change.
I think he had every reason in the world to retire.
Yep.
I just don't think Monday Night Football had every reason in the world to whatever audition he did. If they thought that was good enough for Monday Night Football, they need to reevaluate their scouting department. But
ESPN, they fell off. They really fell off when they made that hire. And the crazy thing is, a lot of fans, I read the comments. I like reading the comments for the trolls. I love the trolls. Many fans, Booger McFarland's the problem. Like, what are you talking about?
He was one of them, but he wasn't the biggest one.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he belongs in college football, not the NFL game. I mean, John Gruden was he was good. I just hated the whole idea of him not saying anything bad about anybody. But I mean, call a spade a spade. But I'm really interested to see who they're going to replace him with, because their talent base is they don't have a lot of people that's really able to do that, capture the game.
But
do they go after a college person?
It's kind of like ever since maybe the 3-man booth of who was the booth? Trying to think of names without saying the wrong ones. When Frank Gifford was there, it was like Gifford. Was it Al Michaels? Was it Al Michaels,
yeah.
Gifford, and Deerdorf? Like, that was a pretty good 3-man booth, and it seems like Monday Night Football has been swinging and missing ever since. You had the Tony Kornheiser experiment. You had the what was the comedian's name that they put up there? Like, they were going all in. Like, they've
had a lot of different names, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of swings and a lot of misses as far as the Monday Night booth.
It seems like everybody else is really doing much better than ESPN has been able to do with this Monday Night Football. I mean, whether it's Collinsworth and Jim Nantz, Al Michaels, and you have so many guys. I mean, I'm personally, Gus Johnson's my guy. No one captures the atmosphere and the actual game like he's got running away from the cop speed. The best line ever.
Gus is good for a scream. He out there screaming on you.
Yeah. I like Charles Davis.
Dennis Miller in the booth.
Like,
why did they think we wanted 3 hours of comic relief during our football? Like, that's our football time. Like, we didn't need Dennis Miller in the booth. Even though he's not a comedian by trade, Tony Kornheiser was damn near the same as Dennis Miller. Tony Kornheiser is very successful, during his radio stint in Washington. And, of course, that led to PTI and stuff like that. But Tony Kornheiser will go on his radio show every day prior to getting that job and tell you, admit to you, that his old ass couldn't even stay up for Monday Night Football games. Like, he never watched Monday Night Football games because he couldn't stay up to watch them. Then he didn't even fly. So, they had, you have this every once in a while, but you got somebody else that you got to, lug around the country on a bus because he doesn't fly anywhere. So I'm like, that was a bad marriage from the start. But like you, I'm curious to see who they who they put in the booth from here on out. But what else happened? Last thing that happened while you guys were on the grind this week, my man 50 Grand, man, one of my point guard idols growing up, Kenny Anderson, he suffered a stroke earlier this week. Kenny Anderson, I believe, is only about 48 years old. I mean, these days we've seen so many things happen to so many different people. Age really doesn't even matter anymore with some of the stuff that's happening to people. But yeah, he suffered a stroke on Saturday. The last that I heard that he was out of the hospital and recovering. So we just wanted to send a shout out and a get well soon wish to my man Kenny G's. Used to have the best handle on the planet, especially when he was at Georgia Tech. But he's currently the coach at Fisk University. So I guess
Wow.
I guess their assistant will be taking over while Kenny heals. So shout out to him, prayers out to him. My man Kenny G's. I know my man PJ of War Room Sports. I know he's devastated. That was his man. Like Kenny G, he used to go in the garage practices dribbling because of stuff he saw Kenny G's do over the weekend. So shout out to him. All right, so that's what happened this week, family. While y'all were on the grind, some quick birthday shout outs. Tayshaun Prince turns 39. Tayshaun getting old, 39 years old. Jamal Tinsley, formerly of the Indiana Pacers, he turns 37. Eric Lindros, formerly of the Philadelphia Flyers, he turns 46. Antone Davis, an offensive lineman, formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles. I think Antone was he considered a bust when he was with my Eagles? He was a big deal when he got drafted by the Eagles, and I don't think he lived up to what he was supposed to be, but he turns 52 today. Shout out to him. The great Adrian Dantley is 64 years old. Super Bowl winning coach Brian Billick turns 65, and Mario Andretti, the speed demon, he is 79 years old today. So we'd like to give all of these people a nice big War Room salute on their birthdays. Shout out to you guys and many, many more. All right. Oh, I gotta give him a special ed though.
You gotta give him
Yeah, I didn't give him a special ed. You can't do it without giving him a special ed. All right, so before we go into our next segment, before we talk some b-ball, we got the homie Naj on the line, calling in from GA. Naj, what's going on, man? Long time.
Yeah, man. I've been working all that overtime because of them damn Super Bowl and playoff losses, man. It hurts.
No doubt. Super Bowl Sunday, still no Chick-fil-A at the stadium, man. Come on. We got to do better.
Man. Y'all know we do college ball down here, so Saturdays that Chick-fil-A be popping.
Man. I know. I just feel sorry for the NFL fans, unless it's the Monday night game or something special Thursday night game. Come on, man.
The brand is strong when you can just say we don't want to get money that day. The brand is strong.
Right.
Shout out to Dave
exactly.
Merrill. You know what I mean?
And they don't bend off of that at all. But what's up, man?
Ain't nothing, man. I'm sitting here cooling, watching this Robert Kraft stuff. Like, the way that this stuff is covered and the way that people speak about ownership and Mr. Kraft. Wait a minute. You talking about Bob? All this Mr. Kraft and stuff, like we talking about nobility and all of that. Like, nah, this was a rich dude who probably been getting off on that move for a long time. Like, if you're not a football fan, you ain't going to recognize that dude. So he go in there and act like he's just a normal banker or something. You know what I mean? And do his thing. So if a stain on the shield is a stain on the shield, I want him suspended, fined, and talked real bad about in the press. And I ain't getting it, so I'm upset.
Just like they would do if it was a player. So,
right.
Yeah. But
I'm actually in agreement with you, and I'm the resident Patriot fan, so don't feel bad about it. I mean, he should. I mean, do something.
And we got B. Austin in the house. B, what up, man?
Double standards, triple standards, quadruple standards, baby. Triple way.
Hey, Naj, what's your thoughts on all of this stuff coming out of Lakerland, man? Because we're about to talk about that in a minute. What's your thoughts on Laker land?
Glad you asked me that. Okay, the thing about the Lakers is, your boy was shopping all of them for Anthony Davis, as you should, because it's Anthony Davis. The problem is LeBron, as we all have documented for years, is a passive-aggressive dude. So a passive-aggressive dude who tries to fix something, they think they can overcompensate something by buying dinners, taking everybody out, and whatever. But if people don't open up from them spending bread and stuff like that, then the passive-aggressive person closes up and starts lashing out. So now he's basically like, I'm not kissing your ass anymore. It is what it is, and he's treating young boys kind of bad. Now, there is something to be said about them being pros and kind of having to get over it, but at the same time, these are people, man. So, hey, man, you tried to trade me, dude. You can't keep saying family and all this other stuff.
And that's what I was saying. Go ahead, B. Go ahead. Well, B, hold on. Mm-hmm. Hold up, B, because I know we about to go in on this topic anyway, so I might as well real quick before y'all do that. Just want to let everybody know, NBA Rap is brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. If you or your business need a custom website, you can get dynamic, professional, and affordable custom website solutions from Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence. Top quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices and financing options are available. So visit digitalextremetech.com or call 267-205-4203. And for discounted rates, be sure to tell them that War Room Sports sent you. All right, everybody, let's go in. Go ahead, B.
Well, yeah, I mean, we got to pay some bills, so I can appreciate that. Listen, the problem here, some of the character flaws that we noted in Raymond James are now being called to task and called to light. Why? Because winning is a cure-all. And for the first time in a long time, he's in a position where, maybe first time ever, where winning is not really guaranteed. And the other big problem that I definitely want to hear from the resident Laker fan, Nas, a lot of the things that LeBron is calling these dudes out for, when you give absolutely no defensive effort, which in a lot of cases, in a lot of games, that is what I see from LeBron, you can't dare call these young dudes out when you don't lead by example. So, sure, he's going to get his 30 a game. He's going to get his 11 assists. He's going to get his 10 rebounds still because, as we as older gods know and understand, offensive basketball is a skill-based thing. And if you're highly skilled, you're always going to be able to get your numbers. Defense is about athleticism and effort. And it hurts to play D when you're 17 years in the league, but you can't call others out when you're not giving the effort. And you can't be the best player in the world when on the defensive side of the ball, you're decrepit. And that's the same standard we hold James Harden to, and why he can't be the best player in the world, notwithstanding traveling.
He's still in his prime, so what's his excuse?
So, talk to me about that, man. What's up with you, man?
I got a good point on that. I'm going to wait my turn, but I got a good one on that.
Well, let me read some of his latest comments that's been sparking all of these conversations, because from what I saw, like all week, all the talking heads, all the pundits, it's been a commentary on LeBron's leadership skills, or for some people, they think a lack thereof. Now, after a second embarrassing loss, they lost to the Grizzlies after they lost to the Pelicans. LeBron came out and said, at this point, if you're still allowing distractions to affect the way you play, then this is the wrong franchise to be a part of, and you should just come in and say, I can't do this. Like, seriously, if you're distracted by playoff pushes and all the stuff we've been talking about this year, then he said, whatever. He said, just come and do your job. We'll do our job at a high level, and that's not a distraction. That's what you want. Every game you want to feel like you're fighting for something. And then this is kind of what Naj was saying earlier. This is when the passive-aggressive stuff comes in. He starts taking subliminals at the rest of his teammates. But it's not just about a playoff push, though. Like, you can't just, like you said, you can't just be a part of trying to trade the whole team away to get another one of your buddies on the squad and then tell them that they're distracted about a playoff push. This team was well implanted into the playoff race before LeBron got hurt. That seems to be the part that a lot of people aren't talking about this season. It's like, you went out with the longest injury of your career. So we can't just come back, like B said, give a little bit of effort on the defensive end and then call everybody else out for what's going on, saying that we're not winning because these guys are distracted. So, yeah, it's a lot. He's definitely throwing these dudes under the bus.
We got to add
they need to man
the
up.
quote. Right, but the question on that quote is the problem for me, though, because the guy specifically asked about distractions, and then he went to if somebody was distracted. But if you leave it alone, it makes LeBron look like a crazy dude. So the question was a part of that one. But to your point earlier about defense, we saw this in the late stages of Kobe. This is a leg game now as far as the NBA. There's so much running involved, so much movement involved, that as you get older, it ain't necessarily effort, it's where that effort's going to be. So if you still want to put up numbers, you're not going to be that dogged defender. Remember Kobe was jumping passing lanes because he couldn't guard anybody no more?
Oh, yeah.
That's where LeBron is right now. On the wing, he cannot guard, a quality wing in the NBA consistently anymore. So he's going to be, jumping in lanes, trying to take charges and doing all that other stuff. But he can't guard to that. LeBron is best served now.
Catching LeBron down there trying to wait for rebounds before the shot even goes up, though.
Yeah,
yo, what are you doing?
Served now guarding fours, but they don't have the real. They don't have a lineup to really roll him out as the four consistently. So he's going to be out there, trying to guard air and getting drugged sometimes because he can't guard, man. And this is what happens as you get older. Because, like I said, this is a leg game.
Plus,
to see Paul
most of
George
the fours in this league now are out on the perimeter anyway.
Oof. Yeah, but they're not as quick as the twos and threes, so he can stay with them. But when you put one of them twos and threes, man, look. Hot sauce and one mixtape time. LeBron looked like barbecue chicken to good wings now. You know what I'm saying? That's just the real, man. Now, if you wanted him to guard, he ain't giving you 30 points. Like, if he concentrates on guarding, he ain't giving you 30 because it ain't that much in the tank no more.
LeBron don't. Well, never mind when you say that.
Even in LeBron's prime, like, he wasn't he seemed to be able to get tired. And I mean, he had a stretch. He had maybe a 3-year stretch where he was a great defender. But that was, I think, he was just trying to prove that. Once you prove it, you're going to get a few more defensive teams just off of a reputation. But now it's got, the last few years it's gotten so bad that his rep isn't even, getting him on those teams anymore. I think Kobe's rep probably got him on those teams a little longer than he's supposed to. But with LeBron, they're like,
he was fast.
Yeah. But with LeBron, like, they didn't even fall for that. They're like, all right, you ain't playing, not putting you on these teams. But no, this whole saga has been crazy because if you look at it from one perspective, at some point these guys do have to get over it. They have to get over it that we tried to chop you and just play. But I haven't seen a lot from these guys that are saying that they're not just playing. It's just that they can't get everybody on this team to play well at the same time and on a consistent basis. And if LeBron James is not 100%, because even the guys that we deem stands, they out here saying that he looks like he's 280 pounds and this and that. I kind of think that's an exaggeration. Nick had to come up with something. Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe that's the truth because I always thought LeBron was way more than 260 anyway. I always thought they were just keeping that there just for the – yeah, so –
But let's go back to the beginning of the season. He was getting crossed up then, so it ain't a weight issue. It's he can't defend like that no more. Sorry,
he can't move laterally like he used to. Yeah. And even I mean, and as big of a LeBron guy as I was, I'm willing to admit, I mean, LeBron is not. He's taken us. He's lost a step. It is what it is. Every athlete does.
But no, I mean, year 16. You expect that from everybody. But the only thing is LeBron has never shown us this before he's never even gotten injured before. So,
but you know what? He can also
18
take a little foot off. He can take his foot off the gas though, because you had either Dwayne Wade, Kyrie Irving, or somebody that can kind of take the load off. Now you see what LeBron. He's having to go back and turn the clock back and be LeBron from Cleveland the first time when the best guy he had was Larry Hughes.
Yeah, but he can't do that. Like,
you can't.
16 years in,
he can't be that guy.
Mileage that he has on those legs, he can't do that. He can't do that. And this is where and it's not that he's not getting his numbers, so it sounds weird that we're talking about plan B. But we've talked all of his career about improving his post game to the point where when he did slow down a little bit, he would just be able to bludgeon people in the post, and he still doesn't necessarily have that. But this is funny though. This has always been LeBron. Like, even when you're saying LeBron, well, now we're kind of hinting that he's on his downside. He can still go out there and get you 27, 9, and 8 every damn night. It's
but
crazy.
you know what? He's still a top 5 player in the NBA. But I mean, the criticism is legit. Yeah. Sorry, man.
But it's funny. It's funny because to your point, Dev, and I always bring this up, and I probably will never stop. Why? Because the LeBron in year 17 hasn't developed it, so it's not going to happen. All LeBron needed was 2 post moves and 2 counters, and he would have been such a dynamo. Like, when we remember that in the finals last year, he still refused to post up Steph Curry or couldn't post. Like, come on, man. Come on. Like, that's ridiculous at this stage of the career. That would have helped him so.
It's coming, B. And I just want to warn you, he's going to do a lot of crying when he moves to that post and thinks he's getting fouled every 2 minutes. Like, boy, the crying that's coming. But it's coming.
I don't think he has the footwork for it.
Oh, it's coming, brother. It ain't by choice.
Naj, you just snuck something in there. There was going to be my next question in there. I mean, my next question anyway. You said he's still a top 5 player. I was about to ask you guys, is LeBron James still the best player in the NBA? Because that's been a conversation where people have seemingly been speaking candidly about that. For a lot of people, this is a year-to-year thing. Even though, there's people, especially even at his position, is having a better year, you have to factor in the fact that this is year 16, so you might not expect it to go up anymore. It might, the trajectory might be down from now on. So is there anybody here, out of the 4 of us, who still thinks that LeBron James is the best player in the NBA?
Yeah, I do. And I'm the biggest hater there is, but I'm going to.
That's the surprising answer right there. I was waiting for Fred.
If you check my track record, I've always kept it real. Like, even with everything I see about him, I still recognize and acknowledge the talent and where he ranks. Like, even right now, if you have a fully healthy LeBron and you put him on a squad and give him shooter, if the Lakers were built like a normal LeBron team and they had the shooters that he needed, he would be able to hide the fact that he doesn't play D and that he's aging. Like, I still won't say he's not the best player in the world, man.
But you're still talking about building a team so you can hide, some of LeBron's new deficiencies. Like, can you really say at this moment, when Kevin Durant is actually playing the best defense we've ever seen play the last couple of years, like, can we really still say that he's better than that dude? And I don't want to get KD problems.
It's just like Mike when he was calling for Scotty on that last 3-peat. When they had a tough wing or a tough point guard, Mike, hey, Scotty, you got it. Like, you got to do certain things as you age. But look, I'll put context on this. If you give LeBron a playoff series where he gets more rest and you're dealing with a fully rested LeBron, yes, he's the best player in the league at that point. But dealing with the marathon that the season is, month to month, then during the season, Giannis and these other guys pass him up because he can't do that every night like he used to, like they do now. That's what
this is where my head is. I'm thinking, like, you watch the NBA night after night, and you kind of, you see people, and you're like, damn, these dudes probably better than LeBron right now. But being the best player in the league for so long, I'm not ready to just take that from him before a whole season goes by. Like, you guys have to, usually I would make those dudes prove it for more than one season. But the only reason I'm thinking at least the whole season has to go by before I make that judgment is because, like I said earlier, he is in year 16. So if a whole season goes by and I think a couple of guys passed him by, I don't really think LeBron's going to play any better the next year unless he gets himself an Anthony Davis or Kawhi Leonard and that just re-energizes him. But it's kind of like a show proof. Yeah, it's like because I'm seeing people, I'm like, he's probably better than LeBron right now, but I'm not ready to be a prisoner of the moment either.
I didn't want to do it.
You got to give that man.
But think about it. We have to throw qualifiers on it to make that statement. Normally, you don't have to throw qualifiers on it to make the statement. So
everybody is, because I'm like, because he's held it for so long, I got to give him the benefit. And B talking about, if you get like we saying all kinds of stuff to keep up there. It's weird.
And you guys know, I'm probably the biggest LeBron dude you guys know, and I'm gonna tell you, LeBron. I said it about a month ago. I said right before the All-Star break, I said I don't want to do this, but KD's the best player in the league. It's just, and I hate doing it, but at some point somebody's gonna take it. At some point, I kind of wanted to say it after the finals last year.
Fred, I hate that if it's anybody that it has to be KD after he even went and joined the Warriors.
Yeah, you had to go join the best team in the league to make this
But you got
happen.
to.
But then LeBron had to join up with other players to make that claim that he was the best player in the league too. So I mean, it's kind of
nobody who we would try to name better than LeBron
could
do what he did last year in taking that team to a final. Like all the guys we're naming. The peak of their career is still nowhere near the peak of what he was at his best. And we're just talking about last year. So, again, you get this dude rested with a, complimentary player with him. And I ain't talking about, no all-star. I'm talking about Hall of Fame guy like Anthony. Then
I still think
it's a problem again.
I think the West is a different beast, though, man. Like the best you had to
it's
offer.
All fun and games.
The East, you can just run. He's so used to running to the East.
As Joel would say, he owns real estate in Toronto's head, and that was the best you had to offer in the East. I'm gonna ask Naj, and I'm gonna ask Fred this because we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, and you guys weren't here. I mean, it's pretty obvious, unless the voters are totally biased, that LeBron is not gonna, for the first time since like 07, 08, he's not gonna be first team All NBA, and then you factor in the 18 games that he missed. It's actually hard to put him there regardless. I think that'll probably be at forwards, Giannis and Paul George. But there's also an argument for the second team. Do you guys think LeBron will get second team All NBA this season? Because you have to remember, second team, anywhere between the first and second team, here's the four guys that I'm thinking could take LeBron's place. Unless the voters are like, come on, this is LeBron. But you got Giannis, you got Paul George, you got Kevin Durant, and you got Kawhi. So could LeBron maybe sneak in over Kawhi for that second team? I think LeBron might get pushed down to third team.
I think that's second team. And I don't think it's a gift. I think he's earned second team. What they were before the injury as far as record, and how he's performed all season, I think he is second team All NBA. I wouldn't.
So it kind of shows you his worth with him being there versus him not being there. But compare that to Kawhi though, because if he does second team, I'm assuming that's the guy that you're going to.
Kawhi's missed more games than he has. They've managed, the load management thing more than him.
Yeah.
And if you look at the numbers and you look at what he's done, yeah. So, Toronto didn't fall apart when Kawhi did.
So second team for you. What about you?
Yep.
I think if he makes the playoffs, he gets that second team. But me personally, that's pretty much the qualifier to get that because he would have earned it at that point. But there's other players that are, and it stinks that you have to really say.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
It sucks that you have to put that in there, but you have other players that are.
Sorry, Brian, man.
Yeah. And Braun's my guy. I mean, Braun, he's my guy. He's been my guy since he got in the league. But I mean, if you really want to keep it 100, I mean, that it has to be that way. Should have stayed in Miami.
All right.
Leave it that way.
Well, I got one more question for Naj before because we're about to get out of here in a minute ourselves. You down in GA, Trae Young. What's the talk about him down there? Because there were a lot of people quick to judgment when he came into the league on a little bit of a struggle. That young man's been balling recently. What people down there saying about him?
Yeah, everybody recognizes that he has superstar ability and could be a superstar, but they've handled it well, man. They played him slow. They made him split time with Jeremy Lin before they finally bought him out, and that didn't beat on the young dude's body. But overall, man, it's just the hysteria of Luka, which goes into some Larry Bird, Hope Wish type stuff, because Luka is dope. Right. Luka's really, really good. But the way people talk about Luka for shooting contested step backs, I'm sitting here like, whoa, have y'all watched Trae? Like, Trae's really good.
How about that?
I would take Trae in an extra. No, I'm just saying I would take Trae in an extra lotto pick over Luka, not because I'm trying to ish on Luka, because I think Luka's an all-star, but unless it's a LeBron or something like that, give me an all-star and a lotto pick over anybody just about, unless you're talking about an HOF. But Trae Young's good, man. Now he's getting the minutes.
I like Trae. I don't see superstar. I see star. I definitely see star, but I don't see superstar.
Oh, man, he could be the next little dude, B. Last 15 games, 30-8, 26-8, and these are assists, of course. 23-8, 29, 27-8, 10-10, 19-5, 20-11, 13-7, 22-16, 16-11, 30-10, 23-8, 36-8, 36-10. That's a hell of a rookie year, man.
So once he started producing
games out of your rookie year. Yeah,
he's solid. Hey, can I add something else? I know this taking us back, but can I add one more thing? The New Orleans Pelicans will regret not trading Anthony Davis to the Lakers. When you got an NBA team over a barrel and you can ask for anything you want, that's when you get all the draft picks, all their young players, and you load up. You don't know if LeBron gets injured in year 3 and those Laker picks turned into Boston Celtics, Brooklyn Nets picks. Like, when you got somebody over a barrel, you take everything. So when Danny Ainge walks in your office this summer or gets on that phone and tells you, everything but Tatum, you reap what you sow. So the Pelicans are a badly run organization who fired the man who they had handling the biggest trade they ever done. And now you watch, they're going to fumble this trade.
It's clear that they already regret it because Dell Demps no longer has a job. And we've been wondering, Naj, over the last couple weeks, like, is Greg Popovich going to give this man a job somewhere in San Antonio? Because he was the main one telling, like, he actually called him on the phone and said, do not deal with the Lakers. Don't make them better, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that's what made him listen, but he went out of his way seemingly to clown the Lakers when he never had any intentions on making a deal, and he ended up clowning himself because now he doesn't have a job. But Naj,
you had all the
we
leverage,
always appreciate
you
call, man. No doubt.
Sure, man.
No
you
doubt.
Have a good one. I'm going to hang back and listen.
All right, no doubt.
No doubt, Nas. We appreciate you.
Yeah, Dell Demps really played himself in that instance, man. All right, so, yeah, it's interesting. LeBron, is he still the best player in the league? Comment was interesting because, my question, because I expected to hear some different things, especially from you, B. I thought you maybe couldn't wait till somebody was better than LeBron. And there's a lot of people out there, even big LeBron fans, are like basically coming to grips with what they see as a fact. Like, he's no longer the best player in the league. Let's move on. Game in that at year 16. You know what I'm saying? There's no shame in that. For you to be able to hold it until your 16th year, because a lot of people, even the people that had a stranglehold on the game, they don't hold on to that until year 16. Kobe definitely didn't, but that's because LeBron was in. So he had some different circumstances. We mentioned this earlier. B, I don't know if you saw, man, your man Dwayne Wade, he dug in the crates last night, man. Took it back. 25 points off the bench, hit a one-legged three-pointer at the buzzer to beat the Warriors, man. And it just made me, when I watched, because I didn't see that game live, I watched the highlight package this morning. And I'm sitting here finding myself like eyes welling up a little bit, because you see performances like you realize that another great is about to roll. When you love this game the way that we do, that's a big deal. Yeah. And I always say, so many people a lot of these players, they spend their whole career hating and all of that and not appreciating the greatness that they see. When this happens, I know they probably end up feeling some type of way. Maybe not the day that he leaves, but a lot of people, when players they dislike leave, in a couple of years you feel the sting of that. You miss seeing them dudes on the court.
I'm like that with Kobe Bryant now to this day. I didn't appreciate Kobe.
You appreciate him, and I was like, dang it. Hey, Fred, I'll tell you. I definitely, for me, I'll speak for B. I'll speak for most of the people from Philadelphia who grew up at a time when Larry Bird was in the league. We were bred. We're from. You have to hate Larry Bird, or you're gonna run out of town. No matter how young you are. We were young at the time, but we spent our whole young lives hating on this man. I mean, he played for the rival team. You kind of had to. But even after it was all said and done, like, people still refuse to give this man his props. And then you go back and you look at a Larry Bird highlight reel and you're like, God damn, I wish I could still watch this dude play. It's like that, man. And, my bad, B. I got all nostalgic on you. What were you about to say, man?
I forgot.
Too much marijuana.
True. Salute to Dwayne Wade. I mean, I definitely, for him, I appreciated his game. I enjoyed watching him, especially, I can recall that series where Shaq was a hanger-oner, and they were giving Shaq too much credit, and it was really,
So I'm not the only one on that train.
Dwayne Wade.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dwayne Wade did that. Shaq was just there eating French fries.
No, Fred. I've always believed that. What I saw you doing in that post that I had to say something about, you were just totally crapping on Shaq, like he wasn't nothing. Like B, what you have to realize as well, B thinks Shaq, as great as he was one of the biggest underachievers ever because of what he could have been that size.
Shaq,
I just thought you were taking it a little too far. Dwayne Wade definitely, was the catalyst for that comeback. If Shaq would have he didn't do that until the finals.
If Shaq would have lived to his potential, we would have been talking about him in the same sentence with Wilt, and some people do. But Shaq was, But this is about Dwayne Wade. I really appreciate his game. The little bit that kind of hurt for me was the thing that hurt me is I look at the rankings of two guards, and there's Mike unequivocally by himself. Then there's Kobe. Then they slight AI for Dwayne Wade, and I think AI is the third greatest two guard ever. And so I end up discounting Dwayne Wade a little more than I should, but he was a great man, and I really enjoyed seeing him play. So it was nice to see him get off last night, probably for the last time. So.
We got to roll, but this spans even past these type of dudes, man. Seeing Dirk couple in the All-Star game, man, I'm like, damn, Dirk about to be out. Vince Carter, as much criticism as we've given him over the years, man. you think back to when that dude was unreal with the stuff he was doing on the court. We got to get real nostalgic, man. We got to push this to next week. So thank you, brothers.
We were immature.
In the War Room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, Facebook, Twitter, the War Room Sports, Game Time on the GroupMe app, and all the callers who called in to holler at us. Thank you, Fred, for joining us, to help us fly this bird this week. Everybody tune in next week, live right here on demand, to catch you up on everything happening in the NBA and everything else around the world of sports. So until then, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the next week. We'll see you back here. Be sure to have conversations on Twitter, as well as our blogs, webcasts, and network podcasts on warroomsports.com. Also, make sure you pick up a copy of Jimmy's book at sportstobook.com and warroomsports.com. Until next time, everybody, don't have mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance. We'll see you chumps on.
Jimmy, know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC, royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah. You know? Jimmy. Dev. DJ. Doc Bay. Lee Austin. I'm Jock. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.
Annual eye exams are essential to staying healthy. 4 Eyes has locations all over the Philadelphia area. We can provide expert optical care and fantastic deals on glasses. Keep an eye on your health and take advantage of our second pair free promotion. Visit 4eyes.com/Philly. That's FOREYES.com/Philly. We can't wait to see you at 4 Eyes.